So let's see, you got here. Now, going over the Tiv, let me find my way over here. I want to start on page Resh Daled at the top so we could get a little bit. I didn't feel like I really learned very well yesterday because I got caught up in business and then my mind went the wrong direction. Number Nun Ches, at the top though. So he's talking about we have no problem over here with understanding Ku and Av. Let me ask you a question. I want to ask a personal question. Let me just stop the recording for a second. If you understand this, well, it helps. All right, let's go on. I don't want to go on to that too much. We're on number Nun Ches at the top. It says, "B'lechein afal pisha elach hamisha gevur shehem chamisha chavayos asher b'das shebo." Now they made it into her das. It comes in as a ball, I guess I could say like a bullet, and then it explodes into, so to speak, into five gevuros. Now they're over there in her das. Hey, Masida the his pashet bar, they're going to spread into her. Acher he yosef bechinas partzav, but that's only after she becomes a working partzav. B'chamisha kitzvoisecho shehem b'chesed ad hod, which come from chesed to hod. In other words, she spreads all the way throughout there, and that is the partzav. That's the partzav. But now she's just a dot. She's not in Atzilus. And this goes back to that thing we saw in the Ritz Ruk. Because now we see that she's only showing 3 lines. That's it. He said, what does it say? She's three lines. You can't see all of the development that's on the inside. You only see the outside part. So therefore only the Havayos spread 3 Havayos spread down the Nuk. So he doesn't go into which 3 or what's going on here. I guess it's the 3 that has to do with the 9. And the other 3, going down to the other 2, don't go down mispashti b'daim. They still don't go down. Then number Samach Aleph, he says like this. And I was going to ask you, do you have the, I just located the Shmona Esrei in the morning Shaar in the Rosh over there, in the Rechovas HaNahar. I did locate a place where you see all these rayos. We're going to come up to that now. Where did I stop? He said, "L'chein ein mispashtos ba rak shlosha." So, "B'vihina inyan ispashtos hazehu." So the inyan of this pashtos goes like this: "Kima shehoya adato b'das sheba b'bechinas arba osios havaya." So let's go back to her das. She has 4 letters of the havaya. Heim atara b'derek ispashtos hazeh. So they go like this. They go in a revuah: yud ke vav ke. Shuhu inyan revuah havaya. Shahu b'gematria Av, which comes the gematria of Av. So this is the hispashtos of the 3. V'harei atara b'chem shlosha b'chinas ku av kal shehem b'gematria baruch. So now you see this is the 3rd, the hispashtos, and that's a definition now of a revuah. A revuah is, at least as far as the Nukah is concerned, is a revuah. Is the hispashtos of the oros from das going downwards, or in general hispashtos. Gematria Baruch. So we have this word Baruch over there. Now let's see, what do we want to say? He could a little bit more, he says. We already explained up above. Now that's where we got into this, because of the Raya. The Raya is such an interesting thing because it's composed of 372s, which 72 is also the number of Chesed, but he's using it different now. He says that, so he said, so this, in Rosh Hashana, it's necessary to have a kavanah on that rayo. So he says, who besod shlosha havayos, that's the 3 havayos that spread, on iskaros and mispasha b'chagat shalok kanoida, that spread into her chesed gevurah teferes. Now, okay, so he said it only goes to 3 places, because it's only the outside part. I said, just try to figure that out exactly how that goes, but let's go on. Asher kol echem mehem hi b'gematria av genizka. So now you have 3 rayos. Hine shlosha pamim av, and rayo is a gematria of gevurah. So let's go over here now on number Samach Vov. Samach Vov. So he says, and we'll read now in the Tiv and the Samach Vov. This will involve this piece. Gam tekavim el rayo sheni be'ofen acher. So now let's have this kavanah on the second rayo in a second way, in a different way. Beish kavanah no safas the bechinas rayo shebekuvana b'tevis baruch, which is all part of the idea of baruch is what the baruch. Baruch is coming from the Yisod of Zeranpin, and Baruch is coming up from Malchus. So he said, "V'ku ki tachlis b'milas Baruch, shehu b'gematria rayo." Thus, you also have another 12. In other words, it's 216. You need to get to 228. So you add on to it another 12. And we also know that. So it's similar to the first one, which has these three rayos going down three lines. Not rayos, but three avs. So now we have another, we're going to add on to it. It's going to give us the baruch. Why? Then he's going to explain this. Why do we need this? Why is baruch so important here? How's it go? Yud base. Yud base osir shibimilui adni. So where does it come from? In the milui of adni, which is going to show us here. Bimilui kazeh aleph lamed fei. So if you add these numbers up, aleph lamed fei, daled lamed tes, tov rather, nun vav nun, and yud vav daled. There's 12 letters there. So what? So why do you need 12 letters? So he says hine me'inyan. Why those 12 letters? Hine minyan rayo chasib menu. Sak that has the number of Yud Beis B'Kadesh Alu Rakach, which is the gematria Communion Baruch, which is the gematria of Baruch. So you need your 12 short. V'Kadei lahashlim zos meguvanim gam al misbar ha'osir shebemilui adni kazeh. So he says, and then he shows it to us again, the 12 letters. Now what's that got to do with it? Shehem Yud Beis Osius, v'kachem olim yachad Communion Tevis Baruch. So now, if you put Adni together with the three lines, then you find out that you're in the word Baruch. So he says it nimshach b'malchus into malchus. So this rayo eventually goes into that's the name of its destination, which is Adni. So why do you need this Adni in the Baruch? Hu mishum sheshefach hadas hanimshach ata el hamalchut b'hiyoseh b'bria. So it's the flow and the receptacle at the same time. V'sham ki nikros adni could l'cholon. As we're going to explain, that's how you get to this name Adni. Ki kavar noida le'el. Ki shorish malchus hu tachas ha'yisod. The root of malchus is underneath the yisod. V'sham omedet besod he achrona, and in that place, it's standing in the secret of the final he letter he shal havaya. Avach b'hiyoseh b'bria, but when it's in osa b'bria, it's non-havaya. B'bechinas nekuda nikros shem adni. It's an adni there because now it's just in the shape of adni. Now, I haven't gotten to really try to have a kavanah on this when I'm saying the Shemona Esrei. I just haven't got to that point. Let's try to learn this. Malchus ba'odah b'bria, when Malchus is still in Biba B'chinda Nekuda, and then she's just a dot. So when we have the idea of katnus and dot, in other words, not reaching at Tzilos, is the concept of this dot. Nikros Adni, there she calls Adni. Ki no senes shefel the call the holomos bia. So what Adni is what? Is the lashon of the master, in some way. And she says, Ki no senes shefel the call olamos bia. The nechshavas the gabechem kebebechinas adon. This explains. Then after that, when she comes into Atzilus, so the connection there changes. So she goes back to her shorish. Tachas yisod is their anpin, and that's where she's at right now. Right underneath the yisod is their anpin. Nechlelus b'shem havaya, she becomes incorporated with the name Havaya. V'nechshavas ka'os he achrona, and she's considered to be the same thing as the final hey. Now she's a hey instead of a dot. ולכן כאשר ממשיכים עכשיו את שלושה פעמים av ha'olam rayo. So now as we see it this way, as she has these three eyes, which is rayo, Tyler Shefach Gavuros the Das, and that is what? The rayo now we say is the three lines in the flow downwards, something like that. And that's coming towards her. It's going El HaMalchus HaNimsas Bebria to Malchus, which is found in Bria. So this is a kavanah that we need to have at this time. Yesh L'Kavin Gam Al Shem Adni. But you have to have the idea that you have an Adni here. She Mekabelis Hashefa. Let me, 1 second. Okay, Hashefa. V'harein is boyer. So let me pull this up again. It's the wrong place. V'harein is boyer shtei bechinos rayel. So now we've explained two different aspects of the rayel. Nimsa sheyesh nam shtei kavanos b'tevas baruch amarames al bechinos rayel. So there's two different kavanos here. Acha b'shum sheshefa chadas and the tennis the malchus, and one is because the shefa that comes from malchus. Mishum sheshefa chadas and the tennis the malchus. Shehiba bechinas baruch, which is that shefa is the baruch. Malchus is the baruch. Shuhu bechinas malchus, the shefa is the baruch. He shalosh pa'amim shem havaya berevuah shebegematria av. V'shalosh them olam the cheshbon rayo. V'hashenitz he k'shemosifin l'mizbar rayo od yud beis keneged osios shel milui shem adni. It's like it's a meaning of the two. Mishum shechal shefa niknas the malchus, because the shefa goes into malchus ba'oda bebria while she's still in bria. V'sham nikras adni, and there in that she's called adni. Yud beis osios imrayo. So the 12. So you understand he's just doing it again for us. Olam rakach, which is a dominion of baruch. Now he says number Abed Ayin Bet. He said V'hine ad atan is baruch abachinach amispashet is b'nekuda hahi. Now we're talking about what's flowing into. That's the 216. V'ata tzar l'kaven al yedei mi nimshachim elu ha'aros. Now we want to see, well, what is the mechanism that allows these ha'aros to go from olam atzilus, which is where we have this das and the nook, down into the actual position of the nook, which is in, I don't know if I said that right, but which is in Bria. And Atan is bar bechinas a gevuras the das, and we're talking about the gevuras the das, and mispashet v'yeredet bechatzilus al malchus shebebria. Derek yisod zer anpin the chatzilus, and it goes through the yisod of zer anpin, that's in itzilus. So he's telling us a position is that apparently, now this is where I'm having a little trouble, is that das is a part of Atzilus. That's really what we're thinking of. But he's telling us is a das. I think he's telling us is a das, as it is an akuda, just an aspect of it. And in that, it seems to have these 5 gevuros. So he says that are flowing downwards. Va'ata yizbayer ketzin nemshachem bechinas elu metzilus lebria. So how does it go? How does it actually work? He said, "Ve'inyan kavana zu he besod shtei chachriot shetzarek lechroa b'midat baruch atah." So we know this from the Rishash. Be'orech beberchos avos the tefillah shachar. So there's some detail on that over there. Bechinas hagavurs the das nimshachem bechatzila the bria. Ayidei shtei chachrios. These 2 bowings that we do. Shekorim b'tevis baruch atah, that you say when you say the word baruch, and then you say the word atah. Achrios, because he says the achrios, he says they are in Yanim, the kafuf as akuma lamata is for zer anpin. Let me see, did they say that Misaki achrios? In Yanim, the kafos as the idea is to bend down the head as akuma lamata from its stature going downwards. And we're seeing now the chef is going downwards from the top. As we know, so we say baruch, then you bend your body. Which is the second one. When you say the word ata, you bend down your head. That's the language. Bow down the head. Shtei hachrios elu chalukos zumbazu, but they're different. Ki b'chriya rishona b'tevis baruch korem es a guf, we bow the body. Of b'chriya hasheni b'tevis ata koroyim as a rosh, so therefore we're bowing down the head. Kenizker b'zoyer, this is also part of the Zohar, and the ba'ata gachin resha, that's the language. So these two bows, the shefa that comes with him, shona zumbazu, different things are happening. So we're going to get a little review of this idea. So he says like this, he says, so there's one chavaya there, and it has all the rest in it. What does that mean? When you start there, you say the word baruch. That's what's happening, but she is standing in Bria. So Zazer Anpin is one Havaya, he's a Havaya. So then he says all what the aspects of Zer Anpin are all could be bundled up or referenced by the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. Hanishbar Atar Bezer Anpin the Ratzilus, so all of the shefa that flows down from Zer Anpin the Ratzilus al Manuk, Tzar Lakabe b'Shem Bavaya, you have a kavana of the Shem Bavaya right away. V'hinech b'midas Baruch, but now you say the word Baruch. Now you got this Zer Anpin is this Avaya. You say the word Baruch, the Kaven b'Chriya Hahi, then you have this Shal Gufel. You should have the idea here that your body is bending down. The Horid b'Techida v'Vav L'Gabe Hei Tator. So it has to do with this Havaya, is to take the Vav, which is the real symbol of Olam Yitzira, Zer Anpin, is that the Vav itself is going to go down and meet the Hei Tator, the Ha'ira, in order to shine into her, but the says Ba'al Koach, and to give her some strength, Shetuchel Malchus Anikwas Adni, that she's called Admi, Bihi Yosef Besod Nakuda, and she's only in the state of a Nakuda, which has qualities, but it's not a Partzaf. But Bria la'alosa, la'alos lamala, in order to be able to give her the strength to do that. That's why you bring in this Vav. That is the Vav in the name of Vaya. And that's a connection between the Vav and the K, which is sounds like a Yichud. So the Hey Achrona of Avaya is Malchus. But Tzarech L'chamshech Dechilah Shefa B'Shesh Kitzvahs, is their Anpin and Namazbot Vav. A little break here. Let me drink some water. My throat is all clogged up. Yeah. Okay, so let me see if I can. So I think we would be like in the light print on Ayin Dal is good enough. Shtei akrilos elach aluku zumbazu. I think he said that. I'm not sure where we're at. Maybe I'm in the wrong place. Let's go over to number Ayin Vav. Maybe that's it. Hinezer Anpin Nikra Havaya. V'chachei Achrona of the Havaya Sheba. Muramez ala Malchus. It refers to Malchus. V'tzarech lahamshech adechida b'sheth b'shesh kitzvahs is their Anpin. And their mazes ba'oz Vav. So the 6 kitzvahs. El Oz Hey, which is Achrona, which is Malchus. V'achakaf mamshichin shefa shlosha rishonas their Anpin near mazes ba'oz Yud. And then after that, we're going to bring down the Gar. And that's a reference to the Os Yud. We're going to bring that to the Hey, Arishona. Kamavur Behem Shagadrash. He said, V'shtei hamshachos elu na'asim ayederet bebarach ata. So these two hamshachos come from the first 2 words of the bracha. He says, Ki, let's see where we're at. He says, Ki bebarach mekavim sha'al yedei hachriyas aguf. So baruch, the kavanah is that when you bow your body, Amaram is the vok, the Zer Anpin, which is a reference to the vok of Zer Anpin. Yored havav el ha'hei achrona. The higher v'leseis koach, the Malchus, and the purpose of this is to bring power or strength to Malchus on Nikras Adni, B'hiyosef Besod Nakuda B'Brias, where she's still just a Nakuda at the top of Bria, Shetuchel La'alos Lamala, that she can make that Baruch, brings that energy in, which allows her to go up. V'tevis Ata, you get the word Ata, Meguvanim Sha'al Yedera B'Kriyas HaRosh, the Kavana is here, bowing the head, Rambam is the Gar Dazah. It's talking about the Gimel Rishonos, the Chabad of Zer Anpin. Yored Ayud Elahe Rishonos, and now you're bringing the Yud down into the first He. So this is the Yud. That's what Ato does. Brings the Yud into the He Rishona, which is Bina. V'zu ha'chei sha'anu maridim oz vav. So this He, where we're bringing down this letter of Vav l'gavo, he shorish ha'shlishi. This is the third root. Shal HaMalchus, Osach HaNikras Hey, and that's the root that's called Hey to Ta, Shal Havayach Omedis Tachas Yisod Dezer Anpin, and that's her position. Let's do a little bit more. Bafal Sheikh HaMalchus Nikras Adni Behi Yosef B'Bria. So even though Malchus is called Adni, which is in Bria, Ba'afal Pith Kain Sarach L'Kaven Sh'oz Vov Yored Lahei. So he says that we have the concept, we have to have this idea, even though she's still in Bria. You have to have this. That's what it sounds like. He says, "She'oz vav yored lahei." You have to have this concentration. Lahei achrona below the shem adi, but not to the name adni. Now, let me just read this again, so if I can understand it, say it better. Vafal fisha malchus nikras adni. So we decided malchus in bria, but bechinas a bria, when she's in bria, she's adni. Vafal pikein, and even so, the kavana is this. Tzarek l'kaven she'oz vav yored lahei. So this is a yichud of the vav and the hey. That's what's happening. Achrona below the shem adni, not adni. Why? Because this is actually the place of the third root of malchus. That we said before, sheyesh the malchus shorish echad achrei hadas. There's one root there over behind the das, which is around the neck area. Shorish sheni achrei hachozen. Then the next one is beyond the chest. The shorish shlishi tachas yisod Dezer Anpin goes all the way down there like that. The v'techida meir za as havok, and so originally za shines the vav kitzvo shalo. The maram is ba'oz vav el yisod shalo into his yisod. Shesham nimsach hashorish hashlishi, because what's there at that place of the yisod is Dezer Anpin. Right next to it at the end of it is going to be the shorish, the third shorish, which is Shalom Malchus. Hamaram is ba'oz hey, and that's the hey. So here's what we're saying. He says that we're bringing it into the yisod. That whole process of the vav is coming down into her, and it's going into her yisod. Nimsa. So he said el hayisod shalo, into his yisod. Shesham nimsa shorish hashlisha. That's where you find Malchus. So I think we're out of time here. That's it for today, and this is going to be interesting. When we get it tomorrow, we'll see something over there. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun, Elevator, Call out. How do I get this off? There we go.